What if Spider-Man's biggest secret, his true identity as Peter Parker, was revealed to the world? Marvel Comics dared to answer this question in one of the most shocking and controversial storylines in superhero history, setting the stage for a seismic shift in the life of the Amazing Spider-Man. The fallout from this revelation and the subsequent events of Brand New Day irrevocably changed the course of Peter Parker's journey and the entire Spider-Man mythos. During the landmark Civil War event, Spider-Man made the fateful decision to unmask on live television. Siding with Iron Man and the Superhuman Registration Act, Peter revealed his face to the world, instantly becoming one of the most exposed and vulnerable heroes in the Marvel Universe. This moment was intended to inspire trust in superheroes, but it backfired catastrophically. Suddenly, every villain Spider-Man had ever faced, and every criminal with a grudge, knew exactly who to target: Peter Parker and his loved ones. The consequences were swift and brutal. Peter's Aunt May was shot by an assassin seeking revenge, and Mary Jane Watson, his wife, became a constant target. Peter's life already in One More Day marked a seismic shift in Spider-Man's world. In this 2007 crossover storyline, Peter Parker is faced with an impossible choice: allow his beloved Aunt May to die from a gunshot wound, or make a deal with the demon Mephisto to save her life at the cost of erasing his marriage to Mary Jane Watson from existence. Peter and Mary Jane, after agonizing deliberation, accept Mephisto's offer, sacrificing their relationship and the future they might have had, including their potential daughter, to save Aunt May and restore Peter's secret identity. The decision to erase his marriage took a profound emotional toll on both Peter and Mary Jane. The story poignantly depicts their heartbreak as they realize that not only their love, but also the possibility of a family will be wiped from existence. Mephisto's revelation that the little girl Peter encounters is their would-be daughter adds a layer of tragedy, emphasizing the weight of their sacrifice. Before One More Day, Aunt May had learned Peter's secret identity and had come to support him, standing by his side with Mary Jane during his most challenging times. However, the deal with Mephisto not only erased Peter and Mary Jane's marriage, but also wiped the knowledge of his secret identity from everyone, including Aunt May. This reset meant that Aunt May once again became unaware of Peter's life as Spider-Man, returning the character dynamic to its classic roots and removing the emotional depth that had developed from her knowing the truth. Following One More Day, Marvel launched Brand New Day, a bold new era for Spider-Man. The creative team, featuring writers like Dan Slott, Mark Guggenheim, Bob Gale, and Zeb Wells, and artists such as Steve McNiven and Phil Jimenez, ushered in a revitalized status quo. Peter Parker was once again single, living with Aunt May, and struggling with everyday problems, while his heroic identity was a closely guarded secret. Brand New Day allowed for fresh storylines, including Peter's return to the Daily Bugle, now under new ownership, the financial struggles of the Bugle, and the reintroduction of Harry Osborn. The stories focused on Peter's attempts to balance his personal life, career, setbacks, and superhero responsibilities, echoing the classic themes that made Spider-Man relatable. One of the most notable additions was the superheroine Jackpot. Initially teased to be Mary Jane, Jackpot was actually Alana Jobson, who took up the mantle from Sarah Arrett. Jackpot's arc, her partnership with Spider-Man, her struggles, and her eventual tragic death, added new depth to the supporting cast and opened the door for Mary Jane herself to eventually become a superhero in later stories. With the reset, Peter's romantic life became a central focus again, as he navigated new relationships and friendships. The dynamic with Mary Jane shifted to one of bittersweet distance, reflecting the consequences of their lost marriage. Brand New Day deliberately returned Spider-Man to his roots as a street-level hero, emphasizing his connection to New York City and its people. The stories highlighted his humanity, struggles with rent, and the everyday heroism that defined the character from the beginning. Brand New Day had far-reaching effects on the Marvel Universe, resetting Spider-Man's relationships and opening up new storytelling possibilities. The erasure of Peter's public unmasking and the resurrection of characters like Harry Osborn created a more flexible narrative landscape for future stories. While One More Day and Brand New Day were controversial among fans, their influence is undeniable. The reset allowed for a return to classic Spider-Man storytelling, inspired later adaptations, and paved the way for new characters and plot lines that continue to shape the Spider-Man mythos. And elements of One More Day and Brand New Day have inspired film adaptations, most notably the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home, where Peter sacrifices his personal relationships to protect those he loves, mirroring the comic's themes of loss and new beginnings. Since Brand New Day, Spider-Man has continued to evolve, with writers exploring his identity, relationships, and the burden of responsibility. The stories have balanced high-stakes superhero action with grounded personal drama, ensuring Spider-Man remains one of Marvel's most enduring and beloved characters. Peter Parker's journey since the reset has delved into his dual life, the cost of heroism, and the search for meaning in both his personal and superheroic roles. The tension between his responsibilities and desires remains at the heart of the character. Brand New Day set a precedent for bold narrative shifts and creative reinvention in Spider-Man comics. Its legacy is seen in ongoing explorations of Peter's relationships, the introduction of new heroes and villains, and the willingness to reset and refresh the character for new generations of readers and viewers. If you enjoyed this exploration of Spider-Man's most controversial and transformative era, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more deep dives into the world of comics.